Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We're so glad to welcome you as part of our community tonight. Please note that this webinar is being recorded and distributed live stream. By entering this virtual meeting room, you give your consent to be recorded and distributed by Vienna Live with Simon Moore and other third parties. If you wish to not be recorded and distributed, please go to the LinkedIn Live video feed, the link to which I have just placed in the chat room. Tonight, our featured guest is jazz trombonist Eli Howell, whose new album, Steps Taken, will be the subject of tonight's conversation. Welcome, Eli.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Eli, so tell us a little bit about where you come from, how your musical tastes were formed, and the moment you decided to pursue a career as a jazz trombonist.
Yeah, so I'm originally from Los Angeles, California, and honestly didn't have a lot of jazz growing up. I picked up the trombone in middle school. I had always played a little bit of piano, and I think we'll touch on that a little later. But I, I was kind of searching for my thing. I don't know if that makes sense. I was into sports, but not really good. And I was kind of like, I want something that I can have to like put all this energy. I've always been an energetic person. I had something I wanted to put that into like some outlet. And middle school, I picked up the trombone and it was amazing because it had that physicality to it, but also the musicalness, and it's just such a special instrument. And so I go into high school, I went to a performing arts high school because I was like kind of good at the trombone, I guess. And then stuff just kind of started to happen where I realized over time, I was like, wow, this is something that I really want to, I can't put this down. Like I need to play this. I need to play the trombone. And then over time it became, I need to play jazz. And then more, it's like, I need to start playing my original music. And so then I went to college at Michigan State University and again, just continued to be so inspired by the music around me. And that kind of led me to where I am now. I'm in New York City and working, and yeah.
Okay, let's have a listen to the next track. This is One for Steve. Lovely. So this brings us after our conversation about you saying you couldn't put down the trombone, then you couldn't stop jazz. Then eventually you've released now your debut album. What is Steps Taken all about?
I mean, it's gonna sound so just not just obvious, but it's about the journey that brought me to getting to this recording, the journey that the recording itself actually was, and all the influences and the help that I've received to get there. Like I think one of the things that I've just come to realize through this process is I've had been so grateful to have so many amazing mentors and such amazing family and such an amazing community around me. And I think that this album is, in its own way, a kind of a thank you note to that.
How did you choose then the music to this? You've got your debut album. That sounds like a gargantuan responsibility of picking the right songs. How did you pick the different tracks? Did
Um,
you compose them all?
no, I didn't compose them all. That first one we heard was actually an arrangement from that was Matchmaker from Fiddler on the Roof. I grew up listening to Fiddler on the Roof, and I kind of wanted to put my own spin on that song. But the second one was an original I wrote for one of my mentors that I love, Steve, the great Steve Davis, and I wrote that as kind of a tribute to Steve Davis and also his group, One for All. But yeah, most of the songs have some special meaning. I think will listen to one where I had Wycliffe Gordon play on it, and just one of my all-time biggest influences. Michael Dees, who produced the album, also plays on one of the tracks. Um, a lot of my originals were ones that I wrote about specific people that have helped shape my time. One of them that we're not going to listen to today, A Clear Sky, I wrote about just the pure joy of, a beautiful day. And that's one of the things that keeps me getting up in the morning is looking outside and it's a great day out there.
And tell us about the next track we're going to listen to. This is I Remember Al. What should we be listening
Per-
for?
Perfect. Yes, this one was actually just an incredible opportunity. Wycliffe Gordon, who's one of my all-time heroes, uh, said he would love to be a part of my project. And one of the things that really is special about this is Wycliffe was the first trombone player that I ever heard lead a band. I went when I was in early high school with my dad. We were on a trip in New York City and we went and heard him play at Jazz Lincoln Center. It blew me away. And I didn't even think about it that far, but like that long. But recently, I've been thinking back about that show, and it was like, wow, this is the first time I ever heard a trombone player lead a band, and it was very special for me.
Let's have a listen. This is I Remember Al. Wow. So that concert at Lincoln Center clearly influenced you. Uh, Tell us now, I've never really heard the trombone make any of those do those extended techniques. I've heard the trumpet do things like that. To me, it's a first on a trombone. What do you look for in a musician? How did you decide to choose the musicians on this album? Do they all have to do those kind of novel techniques or make those kind of have playing with unusual techniques?
Not really. I think Wycliffe Gordon, that's one of his just signature sounds is using that's the plunger mute and really making the trombone sing. One of the things I think it's very special about the trombone itself is that it is in its own way the closest instrument to the human voice. Just in terms of timbre and in terms of what it can do with the sliding and the different sounds it can make. And a lot of that what you hear like in that track of Wycliffe Gordon is him really mimicking like the crying or like the laughing sounds that we can make with our voice. So I think that's one of the special things. And every musician on this album is just someone who, and like I was talking about, a lot of these people, they were all people that I had had previous experiences with as in mentorship roles. And so that was all really special to me.
So you asked them, pretty much all of your mentors, would you please join this album? I've got this important production happening. Did anyone did they all say yes, or did anyone say
Yeah,
no?
they're all very excited.
Did you have a favorite moment when they all got together? Did they already know each other, or did were there any
Yeah,
meetings?
no, they all knew each other and they were all just as excited to see each other as they were to see me too, which was great. And they all had a great time. And they were all so supportive, especially, I think we'll talk about it in a minute, but with the circumstances of the recording.
Wonderful. Let's listen to our next track then. This is Dear Helen. Lovely. So this brings us to the philosophical part of our conversation. Quote, there was electricity in the air, both figurative and literal, as trombonist Eli Howell was readying to record his debut album in Lansing, Michigan in May of 2025, while undergoing final preparations and dealing with the associated excitement and energy. A tornado ripped through the city. Attendant lightning struck Troubadour Recording Studios, the facility booked for the session, and Howell found himself in a bind, end quote. This album, Eli, is a testament to your overcoming adversity during the year-long process of making this album. Not only did your recording venue fall flat, you suffered a serious bodily injury and had to stop playing trombone altogether. How have you learned to deal with adversity? It sounds like pursuing music created a lot of problems for you. Is that the case, or can music help us to overcome adversity?
Yeah, yeah, so that story is just it really, looking back on it, it's this awesome story for my album, my first album, because of course everything went wrong the day before. Um, and we had already had everyone come in. It was craziness. Um, and so yeah, so they had no power at the recording studio. So we set up in a room. My producer and the engineer were like, "Listen, we're gonna make this happen. Don't worry, it's gonna work." We set up in this room and we just get going the whole day. And we knocked it out and we recorded in one room. And I think that really, there's something really special about how we did it. Um, there was an energy. Normally, when you're recording, especially an album like this, we would have been isolated in booths. So, but we were all looking at each other the whole time. We were in one room. And it was super cool. It wasn't what I had imagined, but like it never is what you imagine. And it turned out to be better because we shared an energy and we shared this such a special experience. And yeah, so then my going to the other thing, the year before I suffered from a neurological condition called focal dystonia, which made me have to step away from the trombone. Basically, my face would spasm anytime I tried to play. So it was very hard to, you know, really form a note. And it's something I'm still working through, but again, it's become more of a part of my playing rather than something that I've tried to hold back. I did a lot of physical therapy, worked with a lot of specialists, and gained a lot of mentors through that experience. But kind of going on to that question that you were asking about, you know, is music, it had all these problems. It also has given me really most of the stuff in my life that is so fun. Obviously I love other things. I'm a big sports fan. I like to read. But no, I mean, even when going through the challenges of my face stuff, I had these incredible friends that understood and were so supportive. I had incredible mentors that were so supportive. And the thing that really got me through that really depressing and dark time was the listening to music, the idea of like, I want to be able to do this again. And if I'm not doing it on the trombone, I'm going to do it in another way. I'm going to play piano. I'm going to write music. A lot of this music that I wrote, the originals were for during that period. Even the one we just heard, Dear Helen, that was during that period. So yeah.
What do you tell young Eli Howell who's just been overrun by this injury and knowing, okay, well, I've premised my whole life on being able to play the trombone and I can't do it. How do you what do you tell other people? What do you tell a young Eli Howell to do?
Someone told this to me, and this really was the moment, a big moment for me, and a big thing that someone told me. He was like, "You're not a trombone player," and I was like, "No, right? What? No, like that's my whole life." He's like, "No, you're a musician," and I think that's what I would tell like anyone going through something like this, because you can never promise that you're ever gonna play the same. You can never promise that stuff is gonna come back. And I'm very lucky, and I know a lot of other people that have been very lucky, but I also know people that haven't gotten back to that, but have pivoted because of being a creative and maybe have found something even greater in their musicality. I spent the whole year really practicing my piano and practicing my composition, which was something I had never touched before. And I like really have I really loved that concept. It's like, no, you're not a trombone player because trombone playing is this physical thing you do of the broader spectrum of you're a musician. And as a musician, I continued to teach lessons during that period, trombone lessons. Even though I couldn't play trombone, I was still teaching those lessons. And yeah, really practiced a lot of piano, started singing more, like found other ways to as a creative outlet in music that so I that's what I would tell anyone going through this. Like, you might get back, you might find something greater, whether that is the instrument that you're originally on, you're a new hobby, a new thing. Like, I think it's very dangerous to put all your eggs in that one basket of I'm a trombone player. It's like, no, like look at the bigger picture. You're a creative person that has an amazing outlet.
Inspiring. Thank you so much for sharing such a special, uh, deep personal story and experience with us. We really will treasure it. Let's listen to our next track, our final track. This is A Vontade Mesmo. Fantastic. Are there any questions? Would anyone like to join in the conversation, make a contribution? Okay. So
Can
Dr.
you hear
Davis
me?
would. Hi, Dr. Davis. Hi.
Uh, Very nice playing, beautiful playing.
Thank you.
I've heard trombones basically all my life, but wow, you hit the top button. Where are you from?
Los Angeles, and I
Oh,
but I currently live in New York City.
oh,
Yeah,
not
coast.
Brooklyn. Both ends, really.
Yeah,
Yeah, you have a tremendous sound, and
thank
you're
you.
it really was enjoyable listening. And as I said, I'm sorry I was a little late. And but I'll look it up later. Similar.
Thank you so much.
Good luck to you. Good luck to
Thank
you.
you.
Thanks,
Thank
Dr.
you.
Davis. So final question then to me, what do you wish everyone who listens to this album, what would you like them to take away from experiencing Steps Taken?
I think just a lot of it is like the joy that comes from playing music, the passion. I think sometimes like I've actually been told like to rein it in a little when I'm playing like because I get very like into it. I have a lot of energy, and yeah, like just to think about all the fun. Like it was despite all those challenges, all those everything. That day was so fun recording. I had so much fun. I had so much like amazing time just looking around, playing with my mentors, playing this music that I had worked so hard on. And yeah, I would say that it's just remember the joy that comes from it.
Wonderful. Let's see how we can get the album. So it's at elihowellmusic.com. And if you just go under music, then you are able to watch the music videos and buy the album right there on Shop Now. It's $20 for the physical CD. And if people have questions, they can reach you under contact, Eli.
Yes.
Perfect. So feel free to reach out to Eli. Again, it's elihowellmusic.com. Thank you so very much to Eli Howell.
Thank you.
And before we go, I'd like to bring your attention to the Vienna Live website, www.simeonmore.com, and bring your attention to the sponsorship campaign that we've started. For $5 a month, you will receive one Vienna Live Celebrates 5 Years mug. For $10 monthly, you will receive one Vienna Live Celebrates 5 Years mug and one Vienna Live City tote bag. There is also no minimum for sponsorships. If you click under one-time payment custom, all sponsorships ensure that Vienna Live can continue to operate as a free public music service. And coming up next week, we have Mary Hubble, All These Little Things. In challenging times, what does one hold on to? The album All These Little Things explores this existential question from a woman's point of view, presenting art, song, and the poetry of women from the late 19th century and early 20th century. These poets find solace in nature and in the details of everyday life, transcending their difficulties through the beauty of the moment. Hubble's soprano dazzles while it warms, a rare combination indeed. The compositions are innovative, though largely adhere to a lyrical tonality, supporting and underpinning the language of the poets. These wistful poems, often lamenting loss, are buoyed and transformed by hopeful and uplifting music. All These Little Things is a candid and consoling look at the human condition. Again, that is next Wednesday. Mary Hubble, All These Little Things, and all information about upcoming shows may be found at www.simeonmore.com. Once again, thank you so very much to Eli Howell. Thank you to Vienna Live's corporate and individual sponsors. Your ongoing support allows Vienna Live to operate as a free public music service. Thanks very much to my cousin Mike, a marketer from Layer App. If you're an architect or an engineer, they have a really cool tool you should check out. And of course, most of all, thanks to you, our participants, who make it all worthwhile from New York City, New York, and Washington, D.C. Goodbye, and see you next Wednesday.